Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be giving you guys a big cap space update for the Washington Commanders. They've signed a lot of different guys in free agency, but Adam Peters has put them in a great position cap-wise. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well. All those things help out a ton. And comment down below your favorite free agent signing the Commanders have made. That helps out a ton. Alrighty, so the Washington Commanders have made a ton of signings this offseason, and they entered free agency as, with the number one cap space, and actually maybe number two after the Patriots moved on from J.C. Jackson, but they were in a good cap space situation. But they've signed a lot of guys. I mean, just going through, I didn't have a tweet with a full list, but a lot of the main guys, Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Ertz, Dorrance Armstrong, and Ertz was before free agency officially started, I guess. Dante Fowler, Clone Farrell, Nick Allegretti, maybe mispronouncing that, Jeremy Chin, Marcus Mariota, Brandon McManus, Tyler Ott. And I'm trying to think of the other guys that I'm missing here. I know that Michael Davis, the cornerback, Noah I from the Cowboys, another cornerback. There's a couple other guys as well, and they re-signed some people as well, like Crowder, Efe Obada, Jeremy Reeves, Cornelius Lucas. Those are the four that they've re-signed. So you would expect that their cap space will go down a ton, and that is not the case. And this number, I believe, is a little off, but this was what the cap space was for the Commanders earlier this week, March 16th. They are at number one, and a few of the contracts of the guys that I showed on the previous screen didn't show up, didn't go into the system yet, and they re-signed a couple other guys. So that number's lower now, but still a very good. The Commanders are in a very good, cap space situation right now. You look at it, and sorry, Over the Cap's a great site, but they do have a lot of ads, so just bear with me on that one. But they have $49 million in cap space right now, which is number 2 in the league and $1 million behind the Patriots. So they're basically top of the league, and there's, Titans are a few $1 million behind them, and after that, the next closest team is the Chargers, and they're at 11, basically $10 million behind the Commanders. And then, after that, the closest NFC East team is the Eagles, and they're 15 mil away from us. And then, the other NFC East teams, like the Giants, they're at 2 million. They're not in a good spot, and the Cowboys are at 5.5 mil. So Eagles and Commanders are in a good cap space situation. And if you look at the Commanders' cap, space, break it down a little bit more, they don't have a lot of guys that have a lot of money down the line. You got Terry, obviously, and Deron Payne. Those guys just got extended. But, besides that, you really don't have anyone that's, a big cap number. Jonathan Allen, he's a $21 million cap number, so that's a big number. But what I was trying to say is you don't have a lot of guys besides Terry and Deron where if you cut them, you can't really cut them. Whereas, Jonathan Allen, if you wanted to cut him post June 1st, you would save $15 million, and it would be a dead hit of 6. And with Deron and Terry, you could do it, but with Deron, you'd only save $1 million, and it would be a $20 million cap hit. And with Terry, you'd save 6 and an $18 million cap hit. Obviously, you're not going to cut these guys, but that's just, going over the situation there. A lot of these guys, it's, you're not committed to them a lot down the line, which is good. And I mean, some of them that we signed this year, obviously, you're not going to be able to, cut Dorrance Armstrong right now or Tyler Biadasz. It just doesn't really make sense for them to do so. And yeah, and they signed a lot of guys to 1-year deals as well. I mean, Jeremy Chin, 1-year deal, Clone Farrell, 1-year deal, Bobby Wagner, 1-year deal, Nick Allegretti, I think it was a 1-year deal. There's a lot of 1-year deals, and some of these guys maybe will ball out and we'll keep them. Some of them will ball out and leave. Some of them will maybe not ball out and it doesn't work out. We're going to get some comp picks next year. I strongly believe we're going to get a lot of comp picks after all these signings we've made. Tyler Ott was a 3-year signing. The Commanders have a lot of cap space to make other moves if they want to. But again, you got to remember, you build through the draft and not free agency. So maybe every once in a while you splurge a little bit and make a big signing from a guy that's not your own. Maybe like L'Jarius Sneed, they trade for him, give up a 3rd-round pick or whatever it needs to be because apparently his medicals aren't amazing. You give up a 3rd-round pick or whatever, and give him a big deal, okay, that's fine if you think he can be a cornerstone piece of this defense. But besides that, though, the goal is to be extending these guys in a few years. Maybe Jahan Dotson balls out. You're extending him in a few years, or in a couple years. Jeremy Chin, you're extending him after this season. Frankie Louvu in a couple years. Maybe you're extending. Like guys like that, Emmanuel Forbes, Benjamin St. Juste, that's the goal. That's the goal. And Eckler was a 2-year deal. The goal is to be extending these guys. Ertz was a 1-year deal. And not just spending big in free agency. You want to have those players in-house that you drafted and developed that, you have to re-sign to big deals because they've been balling. And we haven't been able to do that recently, and it's been a shame. But hopefully with Adam Peters coming in here, he can draft well. And I forgot about Marcus Mariota as well. That was a 1-year deal. So the thing about the 1-year deals is it takes more cap space in year one, but again, it's 1 year. So unless you add a void year to that, you're going to have no cap space put into that the next year, which is good for a lot of these signings. And some of this cap space will carry over to next year as well if they save a lot, which looks like they'll save a ton. They have $49 million in cap space. A lot is, not a lot, but some of it's going to need to go to the draft. I don't know how much, but probably around 10 mil or more to go to the draft. And then some other free agents that they need to bring in. They have 67 guys on the active roster. Usually after the draft, you want to have around 90 guys on the roster, or going into training camp, you want to have 90. So let's say 9-10 guys in the draft. It puts you at 77. Probably going to sign like 2 to 3 more like actual free agents, and that gets you to 80. And then 10 kind of camp bodies throughout, before camp, and then during camp they'll be signing some guys, and right before camp as well, to get to that 90 range. You don't need 90, but a lot of times that's what you go into with. You get to see as many guys as possible. So that's probably, if I had to guess, that's what they'll do. Draft the guys, see what they need to do. They'll bring in, undrafted free agents as well. Like that's like, it depends on the year, but sometimes that's 10 guys right there. Not 10, maybe like 7, 8 guys. Sometimes it's 10, but sometimes it's like 2, 3. It depends on the year, and we'll see how Adam Peters likes to do things. I'm going to be interested to see how he goes about the undrafted free agent process and the late round picks as well, what he values more, mid, late round picks or early picks, in terms of, obviously you rather have a first round pick than a second round pick, but in terms of the difference of his view of those picks versus other GMs, and if he can see value in, later round picks or earlier picks that other GMs don't see. And that's what it is, being a general manager, figuring out those kind of things. So this is going to be a trial year for him, but so far I like how he's handled the cap, how he's handled the offseason. Still some more guys that could sign. I think we need, maybe another cornerback and tackle, but we have so many draft picks that we can either use those to trade for a guy or two, or just draft a guy or two. And, it'll be unfortunate maybe this year with those positions, but eventually those guys will develop and be studs, hopefully. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.